Hey guys. All right, so I guess we're going to kick off the meeting. A few people won't be able to make it this morning, but that's okay. Maybe they can watch recording later. Anybody have any good news they want to announce before I kind of jump into the market?
I'll go. Tim, you may talk about this today, but if not, when we look at recruiting and, bringing in top talent, and I
Hmm.
think we certainly have that with the core part of our group, but we're going to roll out some things to, help the folks on our team make additional dollars for, bringing in folks that are, top talent as they are. So we'll talk through more details of that, but that's definitely a positive on my end.
Yeah, and I think we talked about we're going to potentially maybe start offering a referral bonus for people who bring in recruits from other brokerages.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about that, or we want to wait on that?
We could just talk through maybe some of the numbers. I know we have Zach on, but if other folks, watch
Yep.
or listen later.
So yeah, initially we talked about potentially bringing on anybody that brings on a recruit that comes on and signs on. That we initially do a referral bonus of 300, and then once they do their first closing, another bonus of 600, so 900 total. If you bring somebody on from another brokerage, and they hang their license with us, so not bringing in some extra monies. There's something else I'm going to mention. I've completely forgot about it, but maybe I'll remember it by the time we're done. If nothing else, here I'll just kind of jump into the market and update then. So the first week, we've actually had a drop in things going under contract, which is actually a good thing. It's been on kind of a crazy, insane pace, which we'll see in the next few slides. That would be nice to see things kind of taper off, especially since we're at record lows of inventory of less than half a month. For the market index, like I mentioned, we're tapering off. It's kind of leveling. Some markets are actually even dropping a little bit. Gilbert's still on the downside, as well as Glendale. Probably most likely because they're running out of things to sell. Supply index and the demand index is finally taking a little bit of a dip, but supply is still decreasing. We're still running out of things that we can sell them at. Active listings for under 1 million, still kind of teetering around 2,000 only, and all of Maricopa. We should be around this time of year, around the 6,000 to 8,000 for a nice healthy market, but currently we're still hovering around that 2 or less. This is driving prices up. Our average dollar per square foot has finally almost reached 200. Actually, sorry, just hit 201. So that's a good thing. If we can find the homes to sell, definitely get a good price for them. Just to show you kind of what the month supply typically is like over the many years. 2008 was when we had crazy amounts of inventory drop in. We had literally, if we did not actually get another home on the market, we could sell homes for another year and a half and not have a problem. Back in 2008. Today, complete opposite problem. We have less than half a month, so in 2 weeks, if we didn't get any more supply, we'd run out of things to sell. This is driving up our price per square foot. Things under contract is kind of crazy. It's way over what the actual list price are, mostly because most homes are selling at least 10 to 30% over the listing price. Just to be competitive. Sales per month, I mean, even with very little to sell, we're still having record amount of sales, typically about this time of year. It usually only takes off around March. Last year, of course, was a crazy COVIDness. Things kind of took a dip, but bounced right back immediately. And then for foreclosures, I keep getting requests about when are the foreclosures coming? When are the foreclosures coming? Well, pendings are still at a record low. As you can see, 2010, we had over 50,000 pending. Today, we have less than 1,000. So forbearance is still in effect and still will be in effect until I think it's end of June. So foreclosure forbearance actually for 18 months. So even the ones that went into it about this time last year, they still have another 6 months grace period. So those foreclosures coming maybe the end of the year, but we probably won't even notice because they're so low on supply. The market kind of update, we're drastically low on what's active. Our listings and our contract are getting a little bit closer to normal, but this is still pushing up prices, which is all a good thing. Month supply, of course, keeps on dropping. If you get something listed, it's pretty good. Unless we list it poorly or list incorrectly, it'll sell. So, any questions on any of that before I kind of go on to the next bit?
Nope.
All right. So kind of the tip for the week, I was going to go into buying versus renting, or how to convert some of those fence sitters or backsliders. The problem with having such a tight market and such competition, myself, I noticed some of the buyers are starting to get fatigued. Like, am I ever going to be able to find a house? Maybe I should just go back to renting. So I want to go over kind of some of the numbers about why that would be a horrible decision. So let's do a presentation view here. So I went through trying to find the numbers. The most recent numbers I could find was 2018. So the best numbers I actually had to create myself through Smart Asset. Smart Asset was nice because they actually let me go in, put in a down payment, the house price, the monthly rent. I even put in renter's insurance, $20 a month. Put in kind of a median of how much maintenance costs, insurance, taxes, all that. And the crazy thing was, for if you buy in a home within 1 year, it's better to buy than rent. Usually that number is like 3 to 5 years, but with the record low interest rates and how much renting is skyrocketing, even within 1 year, basically, not even just breaking even, you are making money buying rather than renting. More statistics on that. Basically, rent keeps increasing by 10 to 15% per year, especially in the smaller end, also 3 bedrooms. A lot of people are either wanting to stay by themselves or get into large apartments to have that extra room so they can have that home office and all that. Over a 5-year period, this is kind of an average of how much you'd make more than you would for renting. It's kind of nice. This kind of breaks it out for, even taking into account property taxes, appreciations, a little bit of tax savings, equity buildup. You still come out. Net expense is about half of what you would if you rented. Just looking at it from a cash flow perspective, if you're looking at month to month over 1 year, even 10-year, the cash flow difference still is far more leaning towards buying. Especially just if you imagine just the appreciation rate alone, 10%. Even if you turned around and sold the home that same year, you're out your closing costs, which are maybe about 7 or 8%. If you increased your home's value by 10 to 15%, you still come out ahead. That's not even taking into account tax benefits, equity buy down, all that good stuff. Some people had an oopsie last year or two, especially last year. Some people are maybe looking to rent because they don't think they can buy or they can't qualify. If they have extenuating circumstances, even FHA can do it 1 to 2 years or 1 to 3 years. Sorry, if it was a short sale, if you kind of walk from it, even still, you can maybe do it in 1 year, especially if you say pandemic. VA same way. So even if you had a bad whoopsie and you got leftover property, you could still get it back from. Get back into the market and buy again. Some kind of the down payment myths, just kind of listing out shortly. A lot of people think they need a lot of down payment. There's only for first-time home buyers. It's for everybody. And you can get DPA to help out, even with the down payment. Gifts, grants, 401k pullouts, lots of different ways that you can pull out that earnest money to get the down. Some questions you can ask them, especially for people that are renting or maybe thinking about buying. Thought, well, it is a good idea, but can I qualify? You can kind of go over some of the pros and cons, renting versus buying. But the biggest thing is, does it fit their career lifestyle? Do they have enough room in their home currently? Do they need something bigger anyway? And also, the biggest one is, well, what is basically keeping you from buying? Most of these questions are just to flesh out that kind of where their pain point is and trying to figure out if buying might be a better fit for them. Fitting the lifestyle, I think I kind of already went over this one basically, but yeah, renting, if they have something where they may need to move every couple of months or they don't know if they're going to stay here more than a year, that's the only case I can ever see that renting over buying would actually be better for a client. Looking at Zillow's numbers, pretty much everybody wants to buy. Even in all age groups, on average, over half want to buy. Some of them are renting just because they think they can or can't buy, especially in the lower age groups. By generation, you can see the greens being basically people that think they're not considering rent or they want to buy only. People are kind of on the edge, thinking about it, or in dark blue, light blue is the ones everyone just want to rent. Majority of them right now, like we talked about very first slide, you can buy for less than renting. The DPA still has lots of money, especially with the government getting more subsidy money coming in for that, helping people buy homes and also get into homes. The average down payment still is averaging around 5%, maybe a little bit less. There is a 3% conventional that they can get into, the 3.5% FHA, and of course, VA or USDA is always zero. 85% of people that were looking for homes or even for renting can afford it. If you think about it, if they basically have the money for a security deposit, first month's rent, and all the admin fees for renting, they're pretty much up to about 3% already. It's about 2.5% just for the security deposit and rent. Tips to kind of go over. There is some challenges, of course, with multiple offers out there with DPA or closing costs. What you can do is working with them in advance with the lender, come up with other solutions potentially. Maybe they can get into a 97. Maybe they can get into USDA in small rural areas if they're open to those. Writing the letter. I know some people are worried about fair housing issues with that, but there is ways to write the letter. They write it solely. You do not put any input into it. And also you kind of recommend that they don't do it. But if they do want to do it, this is a way to write it. You can increase your earnest money deposit. If they got to put the money down anyways, it's a little bit more of a risk, but it's a very, the alternative is losing the home that they want. But the biggest one is basically pulling money from other sources. That's usually kind of the one that kind of helps most people. I've seen several that people are just pulling out DPA just for the down and not even asking for closing costs at all, just to try and get their offer up to the top. But that's basically it. There's a lot of push and pull back and forth between over the years, what's better, renting, buying. But currently in Arizona, especially in Phoenix area, buying trumps renting. No problems. And I like the kind of thing where she's talking about, hey, maybe the thing to do is buy one, rent it out, and buy another. So basically that's kind of the quick tip of the week. Anybody have any things that they need for their business that can help you out with? Some hazard wants, needs. Oh, Rob joined us. Nice. How's it going, Rob? Nope, still muted.
It's good. It's good. Just busy. Was actually trying to rent some apartments.
Nice.
And person just kept wanting to talk. It was like, all right, but I got to get to a meeting to talk about renting.
About talking about how I need to convert you to a buyer.
Exactly.
All righty, guys. If anybody else doesn't have anything else, I'm going to kill the recording and